All right, let's do it live on a Thursday edition of the program. Merely Bo and the Great Z here along for the ride. It's a matchup day. D'Orlando,
I love it,
joining us as well, which will be very, very fun. My knobs have been messed with.
Same.
Nothing
I couldn't hear.
has been touched from a headphone standpoint.
I don't think that you have a full grasp on what happens in here 24/7, 365, Gibby, because it changes every day.
I think there are brownies. That's what they say brownies do, right? They come out at night and mess with stuff.
Come in and mess.
Maybe the brownie is
monkeying
like,
around with things.
Yeah, maybe Brownie the elf is like for real. Maybe
Could be.
He's on the real.
Would he be proud or would he be stiffy? In this instance, he'd probably be proud.
I think while he's being mischievous, he's stiff arm Brownie.
Yeah.
I'd rather go stiff arm Brownie, me personally. And then afterwards.
What's wrong with stiffy Brownie?
And then afterwards, then I believe he's proud Brownie.
Proud, yeah.
Like when he's like right now, wherever he is, and he's watching us fiddle with our knobs again, being like, "What's happening?"
Yeah, now he's like, he did it.
Quite
yeah, very
proud.
proud.
Yeah,
a lot of people in here today.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
There's a lot going on here in the at the operation.
It's
a lot of
veritable cornucopia.
Really is. All right, we're back at practice today ahead of Sunday's visit with Atlanta. Miles Garrett was back in the building for today. You're on a heater. Is it already?
A knife throw. Did you see that?
I did, yeah.
Well, I am 1/32 Chippewa, so it should
there you
be
go.
a surprise.
1/32. That's a nice proportion.
I'd like more.
A little more?
Yeah, I'd take more.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom's like a 16th. Like that's like the real deal.
She would be.
I feel like yeah, and then right up there, go on up.
Keeps going up.
Yeah.
And you'd really feel
my Nana was
effects.
an 8. Yeah, that feels like.
Yeah.
Now that's consequential.
That's significant.
Yeah.
It used to be easier to kind of track that stuff down. Like the boys asked me that the other day. Well, what are we? Going, well, I mean, I know where it all comes from, but in terms of for them, that much more removed.
Sure.
You know.
For me, it was easy because my paternal grandmother's Italian.
Yep.
My paternal grandfather was Croatian.
Mm-hmm.
So boom, quarter right there.
Yep.
And then we've got on my mom's side, and she's probably going to text me and say, no, that's
Nana
not
is
right.
going to want to make sure you get this right.
But I feel like her mom was Spanish.
Wow.
And then my grandfather was like everything. So I think I have 3 pretty well-defined quarters, and I think they're Spanish, and maybe I think the Native American actually might be in that
mix,
Spanish quarter. And then my papa is like everything under the sun.
It's all out there.
French, Canadian, Irish, Swiss,
all right.
The whole deal. So I have like
3 knowns.
3 pretty clearly defined quarters.
Yeah. Mostly German and English.
Okay.
Yeah. So the way that we went. So I think that's it. But then you start. Somebody said, "Well, you're some grammar that was Welsh."
Welsh.
I spent a
lovely time in Wales.
Did you really?
Cardiff. Sure. Great town.
That is the
Great
only.
castles.
It feels like the only. That would be the town.
Yeah. I was also in Leighton Buzzard.
Fantastic.
My dad was a rugby player, so now Pedro was actually a rugby player of some consequence and would tour the world. And so he had friends in Wales.
What were the tales of his rugby trips?
I think the tales of his rugby trips were full of booze and tomfoolery.
God bless him.
Yeah,
living his best life. Did he have that mustache then when he was on the rugby squad?
He's always had that mustache.
When did it grow the first time?
Great question. It's been around my entire life for sure and predated me. Like the earliest pictures I've ever seen of him, he had a mustache. The only time he did not have a mustache in a picture that I've ever seen of him, he was in high school.
That would be the same with my dad. I've never seen an image of him. Maybe college, maybe, where there wasn't. But I felt like as soon as he could, he had it.
Yeah.
Our generation, I think, is the beard has replaced the mustache. There's a lot of beards running around.
Yeah.
You don't see the mustache the way that there was. And for the generation previous to our parents, there was no mustache.
Oh, no.
That was a clean-shaven.
You had to go back to...
I've never seen my grandpa with facial hair when he was alive. I never saw him with facial hair, ever.
So my grandpa, no. But his brother, old Uncle Steve, mustache.
He mustached up. But I wonder if he had it his whole life or he was all slicked up. Probably.
I don't know.
Yeah. It feels like their generation.
I feel like he had a mustache. Maybe I could be making that up.
Their generation, Pedro and Pops Bishop's generation, that's the mustache generation.
Zaga was full beard.
Well,
Zaga.
He's the world's most interesting man.
Yeah,
he really has a stunning resemblance to the most interesting man, too. Like, he could
have pulled it off, and in every respect, he could have done it.
He probably could have done it. As I mentioned, Miles back in the building. Still no update on the status for him on Sunday. Feels like a long shot, but
it's got to be a long shot.
My God. I mean, I don't see a scenario how it's – I mean, it's Thursday. it doesn't seem likely.
No, and maybe we'll hear. I don't know if there's any talk about that today. I don't know if we get anything.
Let's be real honest. If we knew one way or another, we were not going to say anything. So
competitive advantage. I mean,
the only thing that's tricky about it is Miles is the type of player that if he plays or not will impact the line significantly. What's Myles Garrett worth? 1.5?
T.J. Watt was worth a few points, so I would
Right.
guess that he would be. Yeah.
I think he's worth 1.5. If he's there or not, we're favored by 1.5 right now.
Yeah, I really hope we get Clowney out there.
That goes to a pick'em if Miles doesn't play, I would say.
But don't you think the line right now is reflective of the fact that he's not playing?
So you think it would be 3 if it was known he were playing, it would be 3.
People have all seen the car. He was just in a car.
Yeah, I guess that's probably true. It's probably true. But I think it opened at 1.5 before the injury. I think it's been 1.5 all week.
Well, the assumption should be that he's not playing, I would think.
Yeah, it feels like that's safe as well.
Feels yeah.
Hard to imagine. Injury updates from yesterday's practice: Joel Bitonio, Taven Bryan, Jadeveon Clowney, Joel Haig, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Denzel Ward. You mentioned all of those guys. Amari with a non-injury related. Miles, of course. Jack Conklin was limited. Ronnie Harrison with a hamstring, and then Isaiah Thomas participated fully.
All right, so here's how I kind of feel about all of this. Bitonio, good. Taven Bryan, Clowney, we'll see. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, feel good. Denzel, feel good. Amari, obviously fine. Miles, meh.
Hard to imagine that one.
It's hard to imagine, is what I would say.
Yeah. Did you see the trailer for Yellowstone? The new Yellowstone trailer?
No, I have not.
You have not?
Oh.
It dropped this morning at 8:30.
Baby.
Dropped this morning at 8:30. I was thinking about this a little bit from the standpoint of the NFL is king, college football is prince, everything else plebs. What they're all doing is competing for our attention. It's all television shows essentially. So what you're looking for is what can garner my attention? What there's so many options for us. It's almost like you have to win me over.
Fair.
Or I'll go watch something else because there's so much out there that I can watch really anything I want whenever I want. That's where we are. This is the world. This is the world now. The world is on demand. So this brings us back to this Yellowstone conversation. So Yellowstone comes out of nowhere. It's on the Paramount Network. Nobody even knew it existed.
No.
And during the pandemic, because they had one season in the books, a second season that was airing right before the pandemic, and had already shot the third, you had 3 seasons plus new content in an era where, in a time when nobody could shoot anything, right? So this booms. And I think also the vistas helped. Like, people loved how beautiful it was. They're like, this is an escape. I'm stuck in my house, so forth, so on.
The vista of the views in White Man Can't Jump? There's no vista, and
That's
there's
right.
no views.
That's right.
Sorry.
So it goes big. So as I see this trailer drop today, and I think it's smart. They're leaning into the political stuff of it. He's going to be governor, so which he won. So then they just kind of ignored it because last season was so all over the place. So he's going.
Your time jumping.
Yeah, they were bouncing around. They're going to Texas. They're all over the place.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's going to center back on him. He's going to be governor of Montana.
Costner. Dutton.
Yes, Dutton. So that will be, I think, a lot of fun, and there's a lot of layers to that. Yeah.
Well, maybe he's not, I guess. I was going to say he's wholly unelectable for a variety of reasons, but maybe not.
Well, what I was just going to tell you is the operation that it appears that he's going to run is very similar to the Trump White House, where his family's going to be in the Montana State Capitol, and they're going to run it that way. So in the trailer, Beth, you're my chief of staff, so that's where we're headed.
So it's a little bit of a leap for me to go from this guy being very competent at running like a ranch and very competent at, being the cattle guy, whatever, authority.
Sure.
To be the governor.
Well, the governor of Montana currently is a guy named Greg Gianforte, who is not from Montana, who made a bunch of money in another state, came in and basically just kind of – I think you could have said that before 2016.
Fine.
But I think now
isn't there some
all
investigation into the fact that Rip has murdered countless people at his behest? Wow.
I think it's all in play.
Right. I don't know.
Anyway,
it's gonna be tough for me.
Here's the thing that I don't understand. They are launching this show November 13th.
Why?
Why would – and I think even more than Thrones, this is an audience that is the NFL audience.
No doubt. We don't need any – listen, zoom in on me.
Is this my camera?
Is this me? Are you zoomed in, Gibbe? I don't see it moving.
What'd you say?
He said, what'd you say?
What'd you say?
I said zoom in on me.
Same.
I was talking to the people.
Zoom in on what?
He doesn't have. Does he have camera operation where
I
he can
do.
zoom in?
Yeah.
You just want your face in the camera?
Yeah. I
All
want
right.
to talk to the TV purveyors.
All
Yeah.
right. You're going to be on camera 3, which is over there on your. Yep, there you go.
Camera 3.
Come right in here.
Bring it in
Come on.
tight.
We don't need Game of Thrones during football season. We don't
No.
need Yellowstone during football season. You know when
Nope.
we need them? You know what Sunday you debut these shows, or a Thursday? The Thursday after the Super Bowl, the Sunday after the Super Bowl, and away we go. You give me something to look forward to on Sundays for now 2.5 more months. I love you. You love me. We're all thriving, baby, in this TV land, this paradise. But when you're going head-to-head, I don't have enough hours right now to watch the football, to prepare for the football, to talk the football, and now I got the Thrones. I'm at max capacity. You cannot throw in another show at me right now at max capacity. Wait, save it. Let it become the main event that football is. Football is king. Why do you want to come out here? And I'm sure it's a lovely fillet of sole you got. I'm sure it's a Dover sole.
A Dover sole.
It's delightful. But you know what's in front of me right now? Until February when the Super Bowl happens, prime rib. And when I got prime rib, I'm not interested in your Dover sole. Okay? Save it so it's like, oh, this is a real treat here. I can't have prime rib anymore. Look what I got over here. Some delightful Dover sole. Oh, come on.
It's well
not
said.
hard.
It's well. You know, I've never had Dover sole.
Me neither.
It was used to be like a fish of consequence.
It feels like it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had it. I don't know if it's good or not.
Is it from the White Cliffs of Dover?
That's a good question. I don't know. Feels like it could be.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. You're right on every factor. This thing is going to be done by Christmas.
Stop it.
It's terrible.
Awful.
If you don't want to wait till after the Super Bowl, then do it the second week in January. That's fine. There's no Sunday night football at that point.
What's the thought process though of
I don't
not waiting until after the Super Bowl?
I have no idea. It's very disappointing. Much like it was disappointing to drop Thrones to start this
Didn't
season.
need it.
Yeah. How do you handle that? I watch Thrones
Same.
unless unless we're involved in the Sunday nighter because
Here's
I'm
the
never
thing.
waiting all day for Sunday
We
night.
live in a world
I need a
now
yeah.
where in the olden days, like you had to watch, like, so I'm able to just Thrones, and then if I really care about what's going on, I can set my phone up, prop that on the game, and I can
Yeah.
give a glance every now and then.
See,
But-
I think Thrones is typically something you can't do that
No,
with.
you got to be locked
There's
in.
a lot of
Yeah, you got to be locked in.
intricacies and family people, and I got to know why someone is gone and why it matters to me.
Can I tell you one other thing real quick?
Please, yeah, go right
So
ahead.
the people, Gibbe, what do you think about this?
He's editing.
Why is he
things.
not listening?
He's
to this?
editing.
Oh, he's editing. Where's
Editing.
Stevie?
Stevie's downstairs covering Joe Woods.
Joe
Joe
Woods
just
walked
walked by.
He
Well, then
just
I don't
walked
know
by.
what Stevie's doing.
Just walked
Getting a
on
sa-
by.
Getting a sandwich, I think.
And he's entitled to food.
What do you got?
Last night, so there was some movement. I was talking to some people last night on the Twitter in the world, talking with the folks.
Because Twitter's the end all be all, right?
There's a movement for a cooking
By the way, just
program.
for clarity, in order for something to qualify as a movement for you, it is literally one person tweets at you.
Correct.
That's
No, there were
Thank
like
you.
4 or 5,
Thank you.
including
no, this
Jade
is how the
McRae.
operation goes.
Hold on.
One person tweets at
Erroneous.
you. You quote tweet the tweet of the one
Erroneous.
person tweets at you. Then
Erroneous.
12 more people say, "Yeah, this is great. I'm in."
And then
And
you
that's how
go,
it goes. And then you go,
"Everybody
"Oh my God,
wants
it's a
it."
movement. Everybody loves
Everybody
it.
wants it.
Listen,
Everybody loves it. We gotta have it."
somebody wants the Book of Dragomir to be my cookbook. There's a lot of people. It's a movement. You
Lot
guys
of
can
people.
hate.
Big- no
Listen,
hate.
Hate. Listen, if you're part of the movement, tweet at Bo Bishop and
Yeah.
let him know.
Yeah, that's it.
Can we get
The
more than
movement.
5?
It's just when you define a movement, that's how you define it.
Yeah. Don't hate.
Very
Participate.
savvy. Very savvy. So
Nonetheless-
they want a cooking show with you? The people
Yeah.
do?
We could do it together. The 3 of us, bring a player around, make a meal. I think it'd be a great off-season program. See, off-season program. I think it'd be super
We've
fun.
never been able to really do what we would like to do in the really ever.
No.
But ever on this
Certainly
in
not
the, off season,
yeah.
we've talked about a world tour that I think would have been fun. I think it would have
Oh,
been fun to
man.
do a Browns backers American tour, take the show on the road, get a big Winnebago and zip around. I think that could have been a lot of fun for everybody. We have talked about going to the Hoffs Ranch.
Yeah.
Hoff Ranch and
Having
going
some of the
and
six-stream
go out there
beef.
and sorting that out. I think that would have been a lot of fun.
Is it Springs?
Yeah, there were golf trips we were going to do where we do.
We're going to broadcast from the course.
Broadcast from the course. We talked about an outing at one point.
Yeah,
that I think
slinging
went well.
Merch.
We have attempted to sling hoodies and quarter zips.
And we've been rebuked.
And rebuked from one angle at another.
Yeah, just trying to live.
We are.
So,
and despite it all,
flourishing because you can't keep us down.
Yeah,
it's impossible. You can try as you might. It's not
so
going to happen.
Do they want a cooking show while we're doing the show, or do they want just a you?
I think just like
as
a separate thing. Just a separate thing. Like maybe a couple recipes a month we hit them with something.
So you're gonna like have Miss K film you in the kitchen?
No, we'll bring the. It'll be like instead of building the Browns, we'll call it.
You're gonna
feeding the Browns.
I want to be there when you pitch to McDaniel. Hey, all right, listen. I know it's the season, but listen.
No,
on Thursday
off
night.
season.
Okay, I know it's the off season where it's really the only time where you can breathe. Other than that, you're working 7 days a week, the rest 77 hours a day. I'm gonna need you on a Wednesday to bring all your guys over to
and
my
I'll
house.
feed you. You're gonna get to eat this,
and you're gonna get.
Listen, man.
Who would be the chef for if it was flipped? Like, is there a chef that you would do that for? Where if you had to haul all the equipment, you had to shoot it, and then the reward was you got to eat it.
Yeah,
you're in on that?
Billion of them.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I am.
Molto Mario? Come on.
I don't think so.
He'll watch it on the DVR.
That's right. I'll see it on the DVR. I'll see it on down the road.
Anyway,
my DVR's
all of you are
full.
naysaying. By the way, there are a lot of people that would be much happier to be shooting my cooking show than building the Browns. I can tell you that much. Certainly in this building. We heard some of them earlier today, Gibby. I'm just saying. So anyway, this all came because last night the bolognese. I had to make a bolognese. Arden requested a bolognese. I get fired up when
you
Arden
love a
requests
bolognese.
But I'm like,
do you always start it with the onions, the celery, and the carrots?
So, no,
because that is a bolognese.
It's in there.
Base is that,
but that's not what's first.
Okay.
So I had this one. This one I was pretty pumped up. I got a full marrow bone, like this big.
The big guy.
Chopped into 1-inch discs. So there ended up being about like 8 of them.
A lot of good flavor there.
Okay. So the first thing I did, Dutch oven, duck fat. I'm big on the duck fat now.
Where are you scooping up duck fat?
Oh, baby, they got it at Heinen's. It's a game changer.
Does it come like in a lard?
It comes in like a plastic little tub, like a yogurt tub.
Okay, duck fat. Where's that in at the Heinen's? What's it paired with?
It's in the butcher section near the duck.
Okay. All right.
Duck fat.
Duck fat.
Duck with the marrow bones first. Okay. Brown those. Take them out. Then in. The duck fat's still in there. Now you got a bunch of stuff going on in there. Then in pound of 94.6 ground turkey, so lean on the scene.
Yep.
Pound of lamb, ground lamb.
What an interesting move out of you.
Ground lamb.
Okay.
And then a pound of hot Italian sausage out of the casing, all in there. So 3 pounds of meat. And now we're browning all that up in all this goodness.
Yep.
Then that's out after it's browned. Little olive oil in there. There's still some stuff good percolating.
Still using the same.
Now we've got the garlic, the onion, the celery, and the chopped carrots, that little base.
Yep, now that's in there.
That's in there.
Oh, you're cooking that in that.
Now that's all getting in the flavors. And, of course, there's seasonings and salt and peppers going in all the times. Then once those are good, then back in comes all the meats and the bones.
Yep.
And I put in a cup and a half of a Super Tuscan. And
I like that.
Get that all.
Now we're humming.
Right? And now you're scraping all the good bits off of the side. So now that's your base. Then comes in the crushed tomatoes, a little stewed tomato, a little tomato sauce, a little tomato paste, a bunch of more seasonings, and the mushrooms going at this point too. I didn't want to brown the mushrooms too much because they can hold their moisture better.
I like it.
That goes in there.
What type of mushroom are you using?
These are Baby Bellas, hand sliced.
Yep,
of course.
Naturally.
And then some basil in there, the herbs, dried Italian seasoning, some garlic, salt, some pepper, some crushed red, all of that in there. Just a little dash of brown sugar, little dash there. Then I let it percolate for about 2 hours.
Yep.
And then
2 hours.
Baby,
I like that.
It was a delight.
What is the look on Bryce's face when you put that in front of him?
He doesn't eat it. What do you mean? He doesn't get any of it.
Do you ever just try? Just go.
I just sit there and I'm like, dude, you are missing out like when
But
we had
one
this
time,
stew,
like, would
I'm
you
like,
ever just like put it on the plate and just go, there you go,
here, eat it.
best of luck?
He wouldn't eat it.
Wouldn't.
He'd just starve.
He is steadfast. He's a man of principle.
Oh, he's so.
Yeah. I mean, that
Yeah.
sounds like a delight. I think the only thing, I would not, the hot Italian sausage would not be something that kids would like. And I would probably have to, everything else I could do, though.
Let me tell you something. The lamb,
Well, sure.
outrageous. You would,
A
like,
lot of times
if I
I-
didn't tell you that, if I hadn't just told you right now out loud that
Yeah.
that there was turkey in there, there's no chance you'd have any idea.
I like using the 30-30-30, the veal, lamb,
Like a meatball.
beef
That's a
mix
meatball mix.
for
Yeah.
bolognese. I
Oh,
like
yeah, I
using
like
that
that.
as the meat for that.
I like that.
But I like what you did there. I like it.
Let me tell you something.
It sounds like a delight.
It was a
How's all your digits okay?
That was one of the people in the movement
Oh, in the
asked
movement.
that.
We're
in
on
the
it.
movement, they asked that. They said,
'Cause I
"Are your
remember the
fingers
last
still?"
time-
Yeah, they were not okay.
Not okay.
Yeah, it was about 9.5 fingers.
Yeah,
Now,
but you're thriving.
full
You're
10.
thriving. You made it through.
Yeah,
It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
I'll tell you what, man, I'm bringing that tomorrow for lunch. So if you'd like a little sample,
Yeah.
I can bring a little bolognese in. We'll
Little
go in
taste.
with the beak.
Just wet it a little bit. Just see
Sure.
how it is.
Sure.
I like where your head's at. I like where this program. It's a matchup day. Little matchup day on the
It is.
program today. A little offense.
Speaking of
versus
matchup
defense,
day,
defense
somebody
versus
part of the
offense, D.
movement-
Orlando.
Wants you to do a whiskey show. Well, you could be talking whiskeys while I'm cooking.
Now we got a Now you got something. A little bit of whiskey, a little bit of
Little
meal.
wine.
I've actually been asked to extend an invitation to you guys to appear on a whiskey podcast.
Well, I have
Just
no
a
business
one-time
there.
appearance,
He
but,
has
uh,
all the business there. I mean, I'd go as like meant support. I could say what I like.
That's all it is.
Yeah, but I haven't tasted the things that you've tasted. Like on a wine one, I could start getting
Yeah.
into some business.
Yeah. Who
is
asked?
this?
Why are they reaching out to you and not us directly?
He's the head.
You're the
honcho.
honcho.
Yeah, he's the big
Going
cheese.
between, in between.
The
I was
go-between.
recently approached and said, "Hey, I don't know if these guys would have an interest or not, but I know that they are big fans of the
Sure.
bourbon."
Yeah.
And he's like, "We do a bourbon podcast. We go East Side, West Side, Youngstown.
Oh, East Side.
We've been all over the place."
Well,
And he's like, "I can set it up. Like the guys just need to show up and
Yeah.
be a part of it and sample bourbon for a night with us."
do we?
Here's the
we
tricky
drink
thing.
on the
This is the
podcast.
tricky thing about that situation. Number one, I like the fact that he's open to locations. That's important because I don't love doing bourbon tastings in Elyria, for example.
No,
Not that I have any. I think Elyria is a wonderful place. It's just a long ways for me.
that's right.
So that if it's
Well,
near,
it becomes
that's
dangerous.
Correct. So that's the other thing. And then the real big factor is on any sort of whiskey podcast sampling journey, it'll hit you quick, man.
I feel like it turns into drunk history.
Which
is a great
it does,
show.
which is great, but I think it's hard not to.
Yeah.
Because you feel like, oh, here's a bunch of little cups with a little bit of this.
See, they do. I've seen their podcast, and it can be anywhere from 30 minutes to 60 minutes. And it's
you're saying
like
it's
2
a
or 3
sprint.
different kinds, and then it's just more talking
You're saying
with
it's a
the
sprint.
with the person who owns the establishment about what they're looking
What
for.
they're at, yeah.
Like it's a bourbon expert.
All
that
right.
joins
Okay.
you.
All
We're
right.
in.
Yeah. I
In.
could be into that. Have him pass.
Twist my arm.
Get the details to you, and then get the details, and then we'll have some fun with that. So it is a matchup day, so you're going to hear from our coordinators on that side. We'll take a deep dive on this Atlanta Falcons team. D. Orlando Ledbetter will join us. We're off and running here on a Thursday edition, Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. OBM, the official printer partner of the Cleveland Browns. While you depend on your Browns to win, you can always depend on OBM because we can tackle any size office. Call 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. Now let's head to the podium. Our special teams coordinator, Mike Prefer.
Against Pittsburgh, it did not go.
You guys are down. This is 5 minutes.
We would have liked. But we started the second half with a tackle inside the 20, which really gave us some momentum. Our guys were really juiced up in the locker room prior to that play. They knew we didn't play as well as we needed to, and so we had a tackle inside the 20 there. Our punt returner did a great job all night in very difficult conditions. Second half, fourth quarter, he had 2 shorter returns on shorter punts. He had to come up on, did a great job. We got the ball at the 40 and then the 50. He gave our offense great field position. Corey did a great job in the fourth quarter. We had 3 punts in the last 5 minutes and 40 seconds. We had at the 4-yard line, the 20. That was by design, so the number 89 didn't have a chance to return it. And then, of course, at the 4-yard line at the end of the game. And then Anthony Schwartz made a great play on the hands team play. But they were offsides. They called it. Anthony did a great job of coming over and knocking the ball out of bounds. So I know we didn't play our best football in the first half against Pittsburgh, but I thought we responded really well in the second half and helped our team win that game.
So when you analyze the kick, the onside kick against the Jets and then the one against the Steelers, what went wrong with that first one? And then did Anthony Schwartz was that showing that he learned from what had happened 4 days earlier? Or?
No, Anthony didn't do anything wrong in the first one. We didn't make a play. You're talking about the type of kick?
He did not bat it out. Obviously, Anthony did get a hand on it to bat it out.
Anthony was coming from the 39 because the new rules state that you can only have 9, no more than 9, at least 8, no more than 9 in the setup zone. So he's the guy just outside the setup zones. He did a really nice job on that play against Pittsburgh.
And how much of an emphasis, or what were the coaching points after the one at the end of the Jets game?
I just think we need to do just a better job making that play. I got to get them more ready, and they changed the kick on us. When they were going to come to our left, and we called timeout, and they went back to the right. And that's not that we weren't ready for that. We're always ready for every type of kick, but they did a nice job.
Oh, I was going to change the subject.
Good.
To Chester Rogers. Has he won that job?
I really like Chester. I think it's a week-to-week thing. When a young man's on the practice squad, you're hoping to get him up every week, and hopefully we'll get him on the 53 at some point. But, that's a roster decision that I'm not, privy to sometimes. But I think at the end of the day, we're always going to do what's right for our football team in terms of the roster on the game day. And do I think he's doing a good job? Yes, I do. I really like Chester.
I was going to ask something similar. What's your message to a guy like Dimitrik after he kind of loses that job?
I don't know if Dimitrik's really lost a job. He's always got to stay ready. Dimitrik's come a long way. Remember, he, as a rookie last year, he had never returned a punt in his career, maybe in high school. I think it might have been the last time. So I think Dimitrik's gotten a lot better. He's a guy that he's a really special young man and a special player. He just needs a little bit of confidence, and I think he'll be fine.
Kate Gutman's another extra point. Mm-hmm. Can that? I think you were here when Siebert was here, right? And he just couldn't make them when he had trouble making them. But does that distance get in a kicker's head? When you can make them from 58, you think you'd make that one?
Yeah, I think you just pushed it right. He'll be fine.
Those lines, he's missed those couple of kicks, but how have you seen him kind of bounce back and work through his process that he has?
He's a really prideful young man, and he understands his craft greatly. And I think being a young guy, he knows that sometimes he wants to get over technical because he understands his technique. He's so smart, but he's very confident, and he came back yesterday, hit the ball really well. We'll have another session tomorrow. I have a lot of confidence in Cade. He's a really good kicker.
Do you think it was good that he experienced a windy day early in the season?
What I really like what he did the other night was kick off. You guys know me. We like to cover kicks. We have a really good kickoff team. But the Jet game, he did what I asked him to do and try to give them opportunities, and we didn't kick off as well. That's more on me. He did a really nice job responding against Pittsburgh. And then being a windy, field goals, I don't know if you guys saw his pregame. I've never seen a pregame like that in my life. It was tremendous. And, he's got a lot of confidence. He's starting to figure out the wins, and the more reps he gets down there, the better he'll be.
What do you look for on a guy? Because it used to always just be all running backs, wide receivers, guys that touch the ball, right? Linebackers are out there. What do you look for in somebody to put them on the hands team?
Guys that are going to be smart, like Coach Stefanski talks about, smart, tough, accountable, resilient. You got to have the right people out there, the guys that are going to, if the ball's kicked to them, they can make a play. If it's not kicked to them, they know who to block and how to block them. Just situationally aware guys.
No, but teams have kicked
30.
Out of 19 kickoffs. Mm-hmm. Indoors, that's got to be the rule of the day now.
I mean, Cordarrelle's a great one. I had him for 4 years. We had a lot of success together. We did in Minnesota. He was phenomenal. Great young man. I've been teasing Nick this week about, I said the second leading rusher in the NFL is the kickoff returner for their team as well.
10.
Because Nick's such a great guy, he'll do whatever he can to help our team. But Cordarrelle's a really good player, and we'll see. We'll see on Sunday. Kicker on our kickoff team.
You're up.
Nick Chubb is a kick returner.
You're not seeing that. But Cordarrelle is their kick returner.
No, I know, but how good would Nick Chubb be at that?
I don't know.
He's so fast.
I mean, I feel like he's good at everything. So
Yeah.
why wouldn't he be good?
I feel like he would be very, very good at it.
I feel like he'd be a man of consequence. I feel like he'd be a solid, strong. What's Esteban looking at? I don't know. I feel like he'd be. Of course, he'd be good at it. Don't people forget Cordarrelle's 6'2".
I don't think people. I think it. We talked about it yesterday. His whole operation defies logic, man.
6'2",
You don't go from
230
being-
in his 10th year, and now he's a running back.
Amari was asked about it last night or this morning. I saw a quote from him where he said, "Yeah, I was a running back until the coach's kid became a running back, and then I moved to receiver." And then that worked out pretty good for him
I'd say so.
at that point. But yeah,
Pays better.
it does. Buying or selling home with Howard Hanna Real Estate Services, always a winning strategy. If you plan to make a move this season, they're going to have you covered at Howard Hanna. Every day is game day. Visit howardhanna.com/GoBrowns today for more about that. It is a matchup day. Our offense versus the Falcons defense coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Rumpke Waste Recycling, family owned and operated. Whether you join them as a customer or as an employee, you'll become part of the family. Visit Rumpke.com to learn more. We will do the offense versus the Falcons defense. Before we do that, though, let's hear from Alex Van Pelt.
Experience in you guys are down. Jacoby. 5 minutes again.
He is playing better now than at any other point in his career, or do you feel like perhaps maybe he's just so well suited to this offense and he's flourishing in it, or kind of what's going on?
Yeah, no, I think it's a combination of both, really. I see a lot of the similarities in his play in previous years. He's really good with the football, makes good decisions, throws it accurately. I think our system does benefit him, allows us to use, him under center, play action, things that suit his play style. But playing really well right now. Just going to keep maintaining that consistency.
Seemed to be like zipping the ball though against the Steelers. Is that a confidence thing, or is he more comfortable? Or
yeah, no, I think it's definitely a confidence thing. When you're throwing it accurately and really well, you're feeling really good about your reads and the plays that are being called. So yes.
His comfort level in this offense, has he been around long enough and seen enough that, like, if he wants a lot of empty in the game plan, you guys are like, let's give him empty? I mean, is he really having a large say in what he's
For sure. There's things each day in each meeting that he'll make a suggestion that, we run it up the chain. Obviously, Kevin's in our meetings as well. We're all in there, so everything is, great communication. And if there's something that the quarterback, no matter who it is, sees and likes, generally the coach is going to say, okay, let's get that going, because if you feel good about it, I know you'll see it in the game. So, yeah, he's very interactive with the plan.
As dominant as the run game's been since you've been here, these first 3 games?
We've had some good moments for sure, but I think we're all playing at a high level when it comes to the run game right now. Having Jack back in there and getting the band back together, I think we feel good about where we are up front with everybody. Like I said, the receivers are a big part of that, as anybody, the tight ends, but really happy with the run game right now where we are.
Chubb is averaging 5 more touches per game than he has in the past. Is that by design, or is it just happening?
I think it's just happening right now. We kind of get into the rhythm of the game and say whose series is this? Is it Nick's or Kareem's? But rarely do you hear, hey, keep Nick in there, let's keep him going. We just have a rhythm to who comes into the game. Just so happens he has more touches right now.
It's like the sort of natural connection between Jacoby and Amari is a huge factor in why the passing game and those two guys are doing well together. Why do you think that sort of came together so quickly?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of discussions off the field, in meeting rooms, on the practice field, off to the side during special teams periods where they're getting the extra work, talking through all the scenarios that come up. What if they do this? What if he plays it like this? What do you expect? And it's just being on the same page. And I think that's that's what good players do when they get together. I mean, you get a good feel for how the receiver will respond versus certain coverages or certain looks on defense. And they talk a lot, so that's very helpful, obviously.
Amari seems like through 3 games, he's gotten open consistently. I know he's such a good route runner, but how much of that is also the run game and defenses not being able to put extra attention on stopping your number 1 guy?
Well, it definitely makes it easier when you're beating 1 guy and not 2. When you have the ability to cloud to a receiver and play shell, defense behind it, opens up the run game. So I think having the run game where we are right now, teams are more apprehensive to keep the middle of the field open and double a receiver. So definitely a benefit.
Series between Kareem and Nick, just obviously not too much, but like how are those decisions made? Is that quick in the moment? Is it just this guy needs a break? Just that
it's kind of it's scheduled a little bit. Hey, we're going to give 2 series to Nick, and then we'll put Kareem in. Oftentimes it's whose series is this from the sideline. So we just kind of stay in that rhythm. Been other places where you'd ride a hot hand. I don't feel like that's the case here. We have 2 hot hands when they touch the ball, so feel really good about either back that's in there.
The young receivers growing up over time.
30.
Week 6 or 7, the lights will really be on and they'll be humming along.
I think so. I think you'll see more production as the season goes on, as they get more comfortable in their roles.
Back to the days when teams ran the ball more than they passed it. And that's what you're doing right now. Can you get there doing this, or is there a time where that ratio is going to have to change?
I think it's each game will tell you what that ratio will be. Obviously we love our run game, and that's where
10.
is with the wide zone. We've said that day one since we've come in here, and it's not a bad thing, I don't think, as long as the game dictates that.
You're up.
All right, that's Coach Van Pelt at the podium, and now time for the matchup, our offense versus the Falcons defense, and for that we go to Dr. Z.
Yes, and I just finished up the Falcons defense board, so we're very good at that. Let's just give you some rankings really quickly here for them defensively. They are 22nd in total defense, 26th in scoring defense, 15th against the run, 27th against the pass, 27th on third down. They are tied for 12th in terms of sacks, getting the quarterback, tied for 7th in takeaways. They have a takeaway every single game. 23rd in the red zone, 22nd in big plays, 25th in yards per play. They're giving up 6 yards a play. They're not good, okay?
No.
This is not a good defense.
No, they're not.
It's not a good defense, but it's got a lot of speed. It's an aggressive defense. Dean Pease, the defensive coordinator, will have them moving all around. So who are the names you need to know and the names you need to look out for? Well, in the front, the name is Grady Jarrett, two-time Pro Bowler in 2019 and 2020. Leads the team right now with 2.5 sacks. He's the one who came up with the big fourth-quarter sack against Seattle to seal that win. He's got a team-high 10 pressures. He's the stud. He's the defensive captain. He's the guy you need to know. Taquan Graham is a second-year player who's got 5 quarterback hits that leads the team as well, number 95. Then they're a team that's going to play about 66% nickel, 33% base defense. So they've got 2 linebackers and 3 DBs on the field, the vast majority of the time. Last week they had Rashaan Evans and Michael Walker, their 2 linebackers, both played all 71 snaps. In fact, they had 2 corners, 2 safeties, and 2 linebackers. 6 of their 11 defenders played the entire game last week, which is, in this day and age, is rare.
Yeah, quite.
That's rare. So Rashaan Evans, one of the linebackers, new starter. By the way, they've got new starters all over the place on this line. 9 of the 11 players are new starters in the sense that they were not starters for them last year, or they're new acquisitions who have been brought into the program. Like Michael Walker wasn't a starter last year. He's off to a great start. Where's number 3? He's their Mike linebacker. 22 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, a sack, an interception, and a forced fumble through 3 games. He's making plays. He's been all over the place. Number 6 coverage linebacker at Pro Football Focus. And then there's Rashaan Evans next to him, the former first-round pick out of Alabama, of Tennessee in 2018. He leads the team with 25 tackles. And so why am I focusing on the inside linebackers? Well, for a while there, the standard was Deion Jones, the Pro Bowler in 2017, guy who has 5 100-tackle seasons. He's on IR. And then last year, Foye Olakun, who we saw with the Jacksonville Jaguars week 1 of the preseason, he led the NFL with 192 tackles last year and had 3 picks. So they're gone. So in come Walker and Evans inside. Outside's a 3-4, so your outside linebackers are kind of your pass rushers. They've got some names here. I'll tell you what. Ade Ogundeji out of Notre Dame, second-year player. He's got 1 sack this season. He's on one side. The other side's Lorenzo Carter, former third-round pick of the Giants, who has 1.5 sacks already and returned a block punt for a touchdown against the Rams. They're light up front. You can run on them up front. You can pass on them. They don't generate a ton of pressure, although Jarrett, the 2.5 sacks. If you watch that Seattle game, not until the fourth quarter, they got no pressure. I mean, Geno Smith had all day to throw. Back end of the defense, A.J. Terrell is the captain. Last year had a 47.5 quarterback rating when targeted, which was best in the NFL among all quarterbacks. He gave up 3 touchdowns all year last year, 16 passes defense, second team All-Pro. This year already in 3 games, he's given up 5 touchdowns, most in the NFL. He's following number 1s and getting torched. 73% completions, 134 rate. So he still has 4 passes defense that leads the team, but he's got 20 tackles as a corner because he's given up so many dang catches, which is crazy. He's struggling. That will be an interesting matchup. He will follow Amari Cooper. Last week he followed DK Metcalf. They also have Mike Ford and then D. Alford, who was an undrafted free agent out of, I don't even know what college this is. Tusculum. Tusculum? Have you ever heard of that?
Tusculum?
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Nothing. So he's an undrafted free agent, played in the CFL last year, and he's been playing, he's leading the team in slot cornerback snaps so far this year. On the opposite side, though, of A.J. Terrell is Casey Hayward, former second-round pick of Green Bay in 2012. He's got 25 career picks, 110 career passes, defense third most among all active corners, 2-time Pro Bowler. He had a pick in week 2 against the Rams. So they've got 2 good corners and 2 good safeties. Richie Grant, their second-round pick last year, has come on, and he's been very, very good. Got his first career interception last week against Seattle. And then Jalen Hawkins, third-year player out of Cal, has played for them and has done well also. So a lot of speed, not a lot of names you know. They sent no one to the Pro Bowl last year on defense, and like I said, they are giving up a lot. When you're giving up 6 yards a play, you're not really getting it done on defense.
Tuscaloosa is in Tennessee. They are the Pioneers, private school in Tennessee.
Okay.
28th oldest operating college in the United States. 2,500 kids.
Who'd have known?
That's unbelievable. 28th oldest.
Division II, by the way.
Huh.
I would not have had that.
This is, you understand it at 47.5.
So it's gone down?
It's 47.5 today. It
was 49.
Yeah, remember? Nailed it.
Oh,
no,
man.
47.5.
We got to do Guess the Lines later today, too. I have not looked on purpose.
You have not? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just for Guess the Lines.
Look forward to. Yeah,
I'm very excited.
Very nice. But yeah, look, we ought to be able to score.
Yeah,
we got to be able to just matriculate it.
Look, the fact of the matter is, okay, they gave up 27 to the Saints, who have been dreadful on offense. They gave up 27 to the Seahawks, or 23 to the Seahawks, and the Seahawks were in the red zone multiple times and fumbled the bag.
Yep.
They gave up 31 to the Rams. We should score on this football team. The way our offense is going, we should gash them. You can run right at Ade Ogundeji. He's got 4 missed tackles. He's light. He is struggling. He's a 5th-round pick last year, and he's starting. Now, they also have, and you'll know this name, Arnold Ebiketie.
Okay.
From Penn State. He was the biggest 2nd-round pick this year.
Yeah.
Stud at Penn State, 9.5 sacks. Ebiketie. He is playing more now than Ogundeji. I mean, these names, Jim's going to be fired up about all these.
He'll be excited?
Yeah, there's some real
Does
names
he like
here.
a challenge like that?
It was more fun trying to figure out how Doug was going to pronounce him.
Well, for sure, yeah. Jim's going to crush it all. I just
Correct.
wonder, like, does he like the challenge of a name like that?
If he can wield it into maybe a little fun moment,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Then we're all for it. That's a big, big win. This is Nick Chubb's first game back in Georgia.
Can you believe that?
Since he left the University of Georgia.
That's right. Well, because he didn't play in the preseason. We were preseason there last year, but this is his first regular season game. And by the way, last time he faced the Falcons, he ran a 92-yard touchdown, which is the longest run in Browns history. So we have that to look forward to, which is nice.
Has he played in this Georgia Dome? Was this
he
the
didn't
Georgia
play
Dome
in that
and-
preseason. No. So
No,
he's
but
never
when-
played
when-
in it.
Well, when he was at Georgia, did he play in this dome?
How many years has it been around?
My hunch is 5
Then
years?
I would say yes. Right? This is his 5th year in the league. So if it opened in 2018, then
Well, I
no.
said that. I mean, I didn't even say that confidently. Let me see when this thing opened.
I'm going to guess no.
17. It opened in 17.
So then he would have played in it in 17. At Georgia. That would have been his last year at Georgia. Right? They would have had to be in the SEC
Well, he didn't-
championship.
But I don't know. Did they?
I don't know if they were.
They were in the college football playoff that year.
So then I would imagine they made the SEC championship.
Yeah. They played Auburn in the SEC title game.
In that state. In that.
Yeah, they lost in the national championship game.
How did he
Alabama.
do in that game?
Oh, that's the Tua walk-off.
Yeah.
To Devontae Smith, where Georgia plays in the national title game.
I was like up the left sideline in my mind as I'm looking at it.
Yeah,
the
left.
top sideline
Yep.
from the screen. Yeah.
On forever. It was 3rd and forever.
Yeah.
And they scored. Yeah.
Unbelievable. So anyway.
So he would have. Yeah, he would have played there against Auburn in the SEC title game.
Yeah. Not a great defense. They will get used to seeing this, folks. They're going to do what I call like an amoeba defense, where a bunch of them are just 4 or 5 guys are just kind of standing up and walking around, kind of like the old Rex Ryan defenses.
Yep.
And so you will see some of that, where on 3rd downs they're trying to disguise their blitzes and they're going to just walk everybody around, and you'll have to, be on your P's and Q's and be mindful of who's coming from where and make sure you follow your rules in terms of blocking those things. That's how they try to generate some pressure, because they do have a tough time generating it naturally. They will blitz about 30% of the time, 11th most in the league. Of those blitzes, nearly half come from the slot corner, which is the highest rate of any team's blitzes coming as a slot corner blitz. So you'll get that. They play some cover 2. Most cover 2 in the NFL, by the way, 23.3%. Also cover 3, 32%. Man 1, 16%. So about half the time it's cover 3, man 1, and about close to the other half, cover 2 or quarters. So pretty straightforward. They're going to play a lot of cover 2 early. And I asked Kevin Stefanski about that. So why do they do that? So because it's a defense that was the standard in the league for a long time and then kind of has gone away. But he said when everybody's in cover 2, it's a defense that you can play zone defense. You have 2 deep safeties, but it also helps you with the run because everybody's seeing the ball carrier, and so you always have guys flowing from the inside and the outside device tackle. So my guess is we'll see a good deal of cover 2.
Pop quiz, interesting scheduling anomaly of the 2017 Georgia football team, which Nick Chubb was a part of, that played in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium the first year in existence. There is one team that beat both Georgia and Alabama in the 2017 season. Of course, Georgia played Alabama for the national title. One team beat them both. Auburn. Auburn beat Georgia 40-17. They beat Alabama in the Iron Bowl. And the two teams that they beat, then Georgia went ahead and beat them in the SEC title game. Auburn is out of the playoff. Bama, Georgia play for the national title. Auburn beat them both.
But who was the quarterback of that Auburn team that beat them 40-17?
Let's see who that would have been.
But Georgia didn't. I don't think Georgia had
LSU,
the defense that they.
Oh no! It was Chubb and Sony Michel.
It was all about the offense.
Yeah. No, they weren't all the way there. I mean, they always had a lot of dudes.
Yeah.
That Auburn team lost 4 times that season, including losing to Clemson early. Quarterback of Auburn in 2017. Good question on that. I don't even know. Quarterback Sean White was suspended for the game. I don't even remember this Auburn team. Pretty nondescript. Jarrett Stidham. Who was at Baylor and then transferred in there?
Sure.
That's the way that went. All right. D. Orlando up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Stop by the free Twisted Tea Tailgate pregame party prior to every home game. Twisted Tea Tailgate, located on the west side of First Energy Stadium, combines the atmosphere of a beer garden with live music, food and drink options. The tailgate opens 4 hours prior to kickoff, open to fans with a ticket to the game as well. As we head behind enemy lines on the Twisted Tea hotline with our great friend D. Orlando Ledbetter, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. And we got some big news, buddy. We appreciate your time. What's going on with Cordarrelle Patterson?
Yeah, he was not at the open portion of practice. Yesterday we were told he just had a rest day for his knee, and now Coach doesn't speak on Wednesdays. We're going to have to summon him to explain to us what's going on here as we wait for the official injury report. Now he can come out and run a couple plays, and they can call him limited. But he wasn't out there when we were out on the field today. So something may be up, something may be more serious than the team has been leading on.
Yeah, he's coming off a career-high 141 yards in the win over Seattle, and he's a big part why this offense has been so fun to watch. And D'Orlando, that's how I would describe it. This has been a fun offense. They're putting points up on the board. What jumps out to you about what Arthur Smith has been able to do here in his second year with the Falcons to get this offense scoring in the mid-20s every week?
Yeah, formations, moving folks around, using Kyle Pitts as a decoy, staying with the run when, sometimes it may be wise to get away from it. But, he's implemented a run pass option system that Mariota's running, that he has run before. And so there's a comfort level with the quarterback and the coach here. So the fact that they are comfortable in running things that play to the player's strength, he's also been able to include and get rookie wide receiver Drake London into the offense.
When you look at this offense, you just mentioned something. Kyle Pitts being used as a decoy. It's hard not to notice that the Falcons have never lost a game in which Kyle Pitts has had 80 yards receiving. So why would he be used as a decoy so often, D'Orlando? He seems to be a walking mismatch.
Yeah, but they don't want to move him around as much early in the season. They're saving some of that stuff for later. So, they probably didn't mean to use him as a decoy, but that's what he was. He did get 7 targets in the Saints game, being double teamed. And then he got 4 targets against the Rams because Jalen Ramsey was hanging around a lot. So you don't want to force the ball into him there. But he did come out and they were very active against Seattle and getting the ball to him. Threw it to him 8 times in the first half. First play of the game was a bomb to Pitt. Mariota overthrew it. So, they got to pick their spots, and it doesn't seem as simple as Kansas City when they get Travis Kelce 10, 12 targets a game. The Falcons don't seem to be built that way.
D'Orlando, when 30,000 feet view of this franchise before the season started, I thought, boy, that's a team that'll put themselves in position to draft Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud and be at the top of the draft. But they're scoring too dang many points. Did you have them being this good offensively? And they're doing it without Mariota being really great. He's not far from great. He's turned it over a lot, 60% passer. Did you have them being this good offensively?
No, not at all. It's the same line that gave up 40 sacks last year, was 31st in the league in run blocking. So this has caught everybody off guard.
Is it a situation, though? I guess that leads into a question about the long-term kind of view of building this the right way in Atlanta. They've got a ton of weapons. I mean, London's been great. Nathan mentioned Pitts. They'll get Calvin Ridley back next year. Would the ideal scenario for Falcons fans that they pick at the top of the next draft?
Yeah, well, not necessarily because they're not getting Ridley back. They're trading him. So They tried to trade him this year, so he's not coming back. If you're running back 31, ideally for them would be to win and develop young players, and then spend the $133 million you got in just salary cap money next year. So, if you get a quarterback, if Mariota's not the quarterback, which, most people think he's not, they didn't even think so. They gave up a 2-year contract. And then they got to find out if Ritter can play. But they're showing that, hey, maybe we don't need one of these top draft quarterbacks. Just look at Justin Fields. They could have drafted him. Trey Lance, they were up there during that draft. They passed on Fields and Mac Jones. Look at that in New England right now. So, the key for the Falcons is to build out the team like the Kansas City Chiefs did, and then they found the quarterback in Patrick Mahomes, and then didn't play him right away. So they're trying to win and build it out. That's just another way to do it. They got a pocket full of money, and so it's not the tank to get the drafted quarterback. Is not the saving grace right now in the NFL. That just hasn't worked out for a lot of teams.
Let's talk about this defense, though, because one of the reasons they sit here, the offense has surprised. The defense, so many new starters on that side of the ball. Grady Jarrett, obviously, A.J. Terrell, the constants, although he's struggling a little bit compared to last year, certainly. What do you make of this defense that has not really put up much resistance to people, although came through big in that fourth quarter against the Seahawks to get the win?
Yeah, no doubt. They're moving people around, trying to find anything to stop people with. Grady and Terrell, 9 of the 11 starters were swapped out. So that's to be expected. Some of the young guys are coming along. The free safety, Richie Grant, is a second-round pick who didn't play nickel last year. So he's doing pretty good. He got the interception late against Seattle. Terrell got beat by, I think, Cooper Kupp and 2 touchdowns to Michael Thomas in the first game. But had a great game against DK Metcalf last week. So, you'll see him on Amari Cooper this week.
He'll follow, right?
He'll follow. He's been following for this year, so that'll be different. But the pass rush is a lot better. It couldn't be worse. They only had 18 sacks last year. They're on pace for 39.6 now and 85 quarterback hits. So the pressure's a little bit better, and they're just trying to get together. They're just trying to bring that unit together and establish some kind of identity.
Orlando, what's the plan for stopping Georgia boy Nick Chubb, our guy up here who's off to a heck of a start? His first game back in that stadium since they played in the SEC title game back in 2017. What type of resistance can they put up to Chubb?
Well, they can give him directions to Sanford Stadium, and maybe he goes there instead of coming.
Get him lost.
He goes back to the old college stadium instead of coming downtown. That'd be one way to slow him down. But other than that, you got 2 linebackers. Rashawn Evans used to be at Tennessee, and Michael Walker. They're kind of AFC North bigger linebackers. We don't have the smallest Dan Quinn guys anymore, like Deion Jones and so forth. So, they got some thumpers in there to at least try to run at Chubb. And, I was just watching some of the scout team stuff. And the corners and everybody's going to have to come up and do their job. It's a 60-minute game. They know the Browns are going to run it at them. That's what Rashid said. Evans said yesterday. It's like there's no guessing here. We know exactly what's happening. There's no BS here. They're coming right at us. So they're ready for that, or they're ready for the challenge. We don't know if they're ready for it.
Yeah, it certainly will be a challenge. You have the number 1 rusher in the NFL, Nick Chubb. We know Cordero, number 3 rusher in the NFL for the Falcons. But are you surprised just overall that this team, even 1-2 is the record, but they played competitive games. I know they did last year as well, but everything's a 1-score game. They're kind of fun, and I feel like it's been a while since the Falcons team has been kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, no doubt. The Saints game was, they should have won that one. The Rams game, the Rams just took their foot off the pedal and got blindsided. I mean, they scored touchdowns on 4 of the first 5 possessions, and didn't knock the Falcons out. Then they started blocking punts and interceptions, and just got the Rams didn't handle their business, and the Falcons had a chance to win that one. They were overmatched in that, at least in that game early. Seattle was a battle of 2 teams trying to find themselves, and they figured out a way to pull that one out. So, Cleveland's a step on a couple levels above what the Falcons are right now, but they're competing. They're going out there and they're fighting. Nobody's expecting the playoffs or anything around here, but they want to see them, be exciting and put up the good fight.
How would you describe Dean Pease's defensive philosophy? A guy who's been around the league, he's been a defensive coordinator all over this league. He's with New England, with Baltimore, Tennessee, and then out of retirement here with Arthur Smith for the Falcons. Because just when I watched him, it just felt like you had a lot of kind of guys standing up, walking around, a lot of blitzing and aggressive, trying to just make something happen is what it felt like.
Yeah, it's a 3-4 base. They'll flip it into a 4-3 over. They've done that. They did that certainly last week against Seattle. They opened in a nickel and a 4-2-5. Some people called it ends are declared as outside linebackers. He declares ends. That makes it a 4-3 over. So he's doing whatever he can to throw stuff at people. So trying to confuse the quarterbacks, keep them off balance. And not just sit there and give up big plays. He wants to keep it in front of them, make you earn everything down the field, and maybe stop you in the red zone or get a turnover somewhere along the way. Different style of ball that the Falcons were playing under Dan Quinn, and so far this season, the yards are not there. I mean, they're 15th rushing. I'll start counting the yards after the 4th game and so forth because it's so out of whack these first 2 weeks. But yeah, he's trying a lot of different things back there. That's for sure.
D. Orlando, great talking to you, buddy. As always, thanks for your time. Look forward to seeing you down there on Sunday.
All right, no problem, guys. Take care and have a great day.
That guy's the best. D. Orlando Ledbetter, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, joining us on the Twisted Tea hotline. A little Guess the Lines coming up, perhaps some fantasy news as well. We've still got your matchup on the Browns defense versus a really intriguing Falcons offense as well. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. The Bath Authority gives you the bathroom of your dreams. Why not transform your current bathroom into a custom bath for a spa-like experience? And they can do it for you at the Bath Authority in about a day. It's a reality for you at a fraction of the cost of the competitors. The Bath Authority is Cleveland's premier bath and shower remodeler. They are experts and factory-trained installers. You give them a call now, you get $500 off your next custom bath or shower remodel. That number is 216-220-8399, or go to thebathauthority.com. It's where affordability meets quality. A huge selection of bath projects, the largest in the area, all made in the United States. Change your bathroom from outstanding to outstanding right away. Those conversions, they get it done for you. Tub to shower, superior products and expert installers at thebathauthority.com. All right, you want to do this? We up? Your guessing lines, you ready?
Let's do it. I think this is fun.
All right.
I'm excited.
I'm going to give you a win for anything within a point.
Okay.
Anything within a point's a win. Anything over a point's is an L.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Okay.
All right, tonight, Dolphins at Bengals.
Dolphins -1.5.
Cincy -3.5.
Wow. Loss.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Next, we've got
Last week I was good at this.
us at Falcons. Us at Falcons.
Well, I know this.
Yeah.
1.5.
It's 1. That's a dub. You knew it. Vikings at Saints.
Vikings well, it's in London, so it's really neutral.
Yep.
Vikings -4. Vegas.
Can't give it to you. Vikings -2.5.
Oh.
Another L. Commies at Cowboys. Commies at Cowboys.
Dallas -2.
Got it. Dallas -3. You're right there. That's within a point. That's a win. Good job out of you, dog. Seahawks at Lions. Seahawks at Lions.
Detroit -5.5.
Detroit -4. That is an
I
L.
was going to say 5, then I was like,
oh,
trying
you
to
were
get
right
crafty
there.
on the
you got
half.
the half. Don't
That's
overthink it.
Don't you think that
That's
they should be?
I agree. Okay. Titans at Colts.
Colts -2.5.
Got it. Colts -3.5. That's a win within a point. Good job out of you. Bears
Surprisingly
at
big
Giants. Bears at Giants.
Giants -4.
Got it. Giants -3. That counts as a dub. Good job out of you. Jacksonville at Philly. That's a good game. It's a sneaky good game.
Philly -5.
Didn't get it. Philly -6.5.
It's a Spiro Ditas game.
That should be an upgrade. That
Spiro got a win there.
You got a good one.
That's
a good game.
big line.
Agreed.
Okay.
Jets at Steelers. Jets at Steelers.
Pittsburgh
Zach Wilson
-3.
Right there. It was Pittsburgh -3.5.
Yeah.
Bills at Ravens.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh. Buffalo -1.
God, that's where I would have went too. Buffalo -3.
Wow.
Yeah, that's one of those ones. That's going to be.
Okay.
Yeah. Chargers.
That feels like they're daring you to take the Ravens and the hottest quarterback.
Sure,
in the league.
sure does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Chargers at Texans. Chargers at Texans.
-6.5.
-5.
Wow.
Cardinals at Panthers.
Cardinals will be favored, but not by much. I could see them actually going 1 point either direction, so I'm going to call it a pick 'em. What was it? Cardinals -2?
Carolina -1.5. I can't believe that Carolina team is favored over anybody. Yeah, Carolina -1.5.
My initial was to say I thought it could be one either way. So my initial thought was say Arizona -1, and then I came back at pick 'em to get Carolina in case they were -1, but 1.5.
Yep.
I'm off by like 1.5.
1.5 on a lot of them.
these.
Yep.
Yeah.
Patriots at Packers.
Green Bay -7.5.
Green Bay -9.5. Hoyer.
True, but still.
Broncos at Raiders.
Gosh, I'm struggling mightily. Denver -2.
Vegas -2.5. Chiefs at Bucks.
Last week I was so good.
I know, you were killing it.
This week, not. What is it again?
You're not that far off. Chiefs at Bucks.
Chiefs.
Who
at
knows where that
Bucks.
game could be played?
Tampa. They've
Tampa's
announced it. It is
it's
Tampa.
official.
Yep,
That's
official.
unbelievable based on what I saw. What you,
Yep,
the
it
images
will be
from down
Tampa.
there, crazy.
Chiefs at Tampa. Chiefs -1.
You get it? It's a pick 'em.
Okay.
And finally, Rams at Niners. Rams at Niners.
Rams -2.5.
San Francisco -1.5. So this week you went 6-10. Last week you were killing it.
Last week I was like 14-2.
You crushed it last week. Absolutely.
All right.
Fantasy football week.
Good to remember for the lines, though. That means
let me ask you this on fantasy. I think one of the things that happens right now in fantasy football is panic starts to set in. Guys that you picked.
Totally. Yeah,
you
we're
start
at that
to
point.
Panic.
Yeah.
It feels like panic time.
Yeah.
How do you handle panic time in fantasy football?
You don't want to trade low, but like I would try to buy low. So Austin Eckler's owners are probably displeased with him. Sure, I'll take Austin Eckler off of your hands. Javonte, that situation is just scary.
It's terrifying.
Because they stink and the usage is weird. So that one's not a good one. But most cases you want to stay the course. What you don't want to do is, and this is where I would say you don't want to give up on like the rookies yet that you believed in. Like Breece Hall, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy's not a rookie, but he was somebody that people thought was a big breakout, Ramondre Stevenson. If you are to look at the usage, both of those guys now, for the first time all year, outsnapped the starter. So Breece Hall in week 3 finally outsnapped Michael Carter. Ramondre Stevenson in week 3 finally outsnapped significantly, by the way, Damian Harris.
Yep.
Those are the trends you want to look for. So those are guys that I think you could buy now that haven't lived up to their potential yet, but that are about to explode. What's happened in Jacksonville with James Robinson is stupefying. If you drafted him, great. I mean, this is unprecedented to come off of an ACL and play like this. And Travis Etienne right now, you just hold him and say maybe Robinson gets hurt, but right now he's a non-factor. So that's a little bit disappointing. And then you got to deal with injuries. I have one team where I have 3, I thought, very good receivers: Keenan Allen, T. Higgins, Gabe Davis. Davis has been banged up. Keenan Allen's been banged up. T. Higgins has been banged up.
Mm-hmm.
So you just sometimes you have to get through and navigate those injuries. But, yeah, stay the course for the most part. If there are guys that you believed in that are underperforming early, and, like, for example, it's Austin Eckler, like he's got 80 yards rushing in 3 games, that's not going to continue for the rest of the year.
Yeah, right.
Go ahead and give somebody like that a kick of the tires and try to bring him into your program. I think that's the kind of guy you want to go and make a move on.
Yeah, it's that first month in, you start to get a little bit antsy. Gibby wants one Browns player that needs to be in your starting lineup this week, other than Nick Chubb.
Well, then I'd stick with Amari Cooper. I mean, you look at
he's been a great pickup. NBC has him. It's been great.
Back-to-back games over 100 yards receiving with a touchdown. If he has another 100-yard game, it'll be the first 3 straight 100-yard games of his career. But you look at the Falcons and what they've allowed to the wide receiver position. And I think Chief will have a good game, too. Last week they gave 105 yards and a touchdown to the tight ends of the Seahawks, who are not great. Wide receivers are averaging 17 catches, 195 yards, and 2 touchdowns against this Falcons team so far this year. To take it a step further, the guy that I would consider to be the number 1 receiver on each of these teams, Michael Thomas, would be for the Saints, 5 for 57 and 2 touchdowns. Landry had 114 in that game as well. For the Rams, it's Cooper Kupp's the top target, 11 for 108 and 2 touchdowns. Last week, DK Metcalf was the top target, 5 for 64 and a touchdown. So this is a game that I think favors the top target, and our top target is unquestionably Amari Cooper.
Anybody else?
I mean,
that jumps out to you?
I think you could roll the Chief in this one. Yeah, and I mean, Kareem Hunt's always a viable flex option. It's more game flow. Does he get the opportunity to score the football? But yeah, I think that you're okay here.
All right, very good.
For sure.
Good job out of you. A new way to cheer on your Cleveland Browns with the help of your favorite 4-legged companion, Barking Backers, presented by Milk Bones, the Browns' newest club for pet parents worldwide. Sign up today at barkingbackers.com. Barking Backers, the fan club for dogs. We hit the other side of the matchup, our defense versus the Falcons' offense. Coming up next, you're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Browns fans get into First Energy Stadium quicker on game days with Express Access presented by Root Insurance. Enroll for free today to enter through exclusive lanes at each gate. Plus, each game you use Express Access at First Energy Stadium, you'll be automatically entered for a chance to win a Browns autographed item. Go to the Tickets tab in the Browns mobile app to learn more. It is defense versus the Falcons offense. It's an inventive offense. The man in charge of slowing it or stopping it is Joe Woods. Here he is at the podium.
You guys are down. This is 5 minutes.
Miles won't practice today, but I know it's going to be a day-to-day thing. So, there's a chance, but it'll be based on what the medical staff say.
How scary was that for you, just to see what happened and hear all about it?
Yeah, we always talk to the players this really about being safe, in the building, outside of the building. Fortunately for him, he had a seatbelt on, and he's healthy, and that's all that's really important. Something he'll probably learn from, but we're just happy that he's healthy.
Joe, you have arguably one of the best defensive players in football. I'm sure there's a lot of scheme things surrounding him. Just how big of a shakeup that is to play calls or scheme on your side.
It's something over the years you get used to, unfortunately. But we have good players, guys that we drafted, guys that we signed in free agency. So we want to keep whatever the best plan is, to beat our opponent, and that's what we'll do, this week and go from there.
How has Alex Wright developed from when you first saw him at rookie minicamp until now? Because he might start there for Miles.
Yeah, Alex is definitely getting better every week. He's learning what life's like in the NFL. The players he has to go against every week. But you can see him from a technical standpoint, from a confidence standpoint, improving in terms of playing the run, improving in the pass rush. We move him around a little bit outside, inside, but he's definitely getting better every week.
The challenges of the Atlanta offense?
They do some unique things. They're definitely taking advantage of Mariota's skill set. They have talented players around them that have size, that can run. But you can definitely see there's things where they're trying to get the ball to certain guys, and there's things that they're trying to do to take advantage of Mariota and what he's able to do running and passing the ball. So they use a lot of different personnel groups, a lot of personnel groups just to make you, put different sub-packages on the field. But I think right now with him, they probably got the scheme where they want it.
Game planning, Baltimore?
It is. It is, because you have to make sure you're doing what you need to defend what you see on tape. There's going to be some unscouted looks, but it's not like you can just throw the kitchen sink at them, because you might want to pressure them and they run the ball, and now they're running the ball and there's nobody there. So you have to be very careful in terms of what you're doing, and it's really based on what they choose to put on the field.
Joe, you alluded to the size they have on offense, but Cordero Patterson in particular, for him to be able to make that position change and be as big as he is, the challenges of game planning for him.
Yeah, I know Cordero. I was in Minnesota when we drafted him, and he was a very explosive returner early in his career, but he's a tough physical runner. He's going to get north and south, really tough mentality in terms of his mindset. We know we're going to have multiple players, tackle them, and we have to be able to set edges. You can see some of the run game we watched on tape where he's creasing people, right now on the edge. So we're definitely going to have our hands full, but it's going to take everybody.
Were you surprised that after Denzel played the whole entire game that he came in and was a little banged up and is now on the injury report?
No, I mean, it's the game's so physical, and guys have, the adrenaline rush that they play through, and that game was very emotional Thursday night against Pittsburgh. So it happens from time to time, but no, I wasn't surprised.
Do you feel good about him for this weekend?
Yeah, it's day to day, but he's been out there, so we'll see where he's at. But I definitely feel like there's a good chance that he'll play.
All the attention that Miles gets from opposing offenses. If he's not out there, then how much different is it for you as far as, do they put other guys out in routes now that they don't have to double in? How much does that change? That's
possible. Like you don't know, because there's things we do in the, blitzing the quarterback, different blitz packages we have. So you don't know if they respect that or, like you said, Miles isn't out there, and then now you're getting a lot of guys releasing. So it's something that's possible. It's something that we talk about and that we'll have a plan for.
What kind of blow is it not having Anthony for the rest of the season? And with JOK question mark, like, can Sione, we think of him as kind of a big run stopper, but can he play that
30
weak side nickel that I think he did at the end of that game?
Definitely. It's a big blow just because of the leadership and what Anthony was doing on the field. Definitely thought that he was playing really well for us. And then, guys are confident when he's in there. But I definitely feel like Jacob is ready to, take the reins. He's very
10
take charge type of guy. He's just young. He's learning. And then Sione, we involved him in teaching him multiple positions, so he'll be ready to step in, and our nickel, dime, and our Ruby.
You're up.
All right. It is a match day. Our defense versus the Falcons. Offense brought to you by Evolve Technology. Evolve Technology powers best-in-class security for the Cleveland Browns. We'll have to be secure defensively in order to get this win. This team could score some points, although the news of Cordarrelle Patterson potentially he's out of practice again today, so 2 days out for him. That would be a big, big benefit for us.
It would be massive for the Cleveland Browns, obviously, if Cordarrelle Patterson isn't in. Number 3 rusher in the NFL, leading the league at 6.2 yards per carry so far this season. This is an offense been good. Marcus Mariota on the year, 50 of 79 for 640 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, a rating of 85.4. He's also run for 92 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, 76 of those rushing yards came in week 1 against the New Orleans Saints, so he's not been done as much on the ground the last couple of weeks. Patterson for the year, 49 carries, 302 yards, 6.2 a pop, 2 touchdowns as well. Their receiving core, they've got 2 big guys. One is Drake London, the rookie, the first receiver taken, 16 catches, 214 yards. He's got 2 touchdowns on the year. Kyle Pitts, 9 catches, 125 yards, 87 of which came last week. He's averaging 14 yards a catch as a tight end, no touchdowns. And then Olamide Zaccheaus, he has got 8 catches for 119 yards. He's averaging 15 yards a catch. And what's crazy about him, Zaccheaus, is he's only been targeted 8 times. 8 targets, 8 catches, 119 yards, and a touchdown. He did lose a fumble, but he is really kind of that's it. Now, they'll play a bunch of tight ends. Last week, for example, Parker Hesse, he played 43 of the 57 offensive snaps. Pitts only played 38. So they have 2 tight ends on the field a ton. They line up Pitts as a receiver in many of these cases. Their 3 receivers are really Pitts, London, and Zaccheaus. Because you look at the other receivers, Kaderil Hodge, who's their 3rd receiver by trade, he played 11 snaps. They play basically 2 tight ends all the time. Anthony Fursker played 8 snaps. Well, they'll play 3 tight ends at times as well. You're going to see a lot of play action. You're going to see a lot of pre-snap motion. You're going to see a lot of the pistol, taking advantage of the movement skills of Marcus Mariota, those pop passes where he's got a lot of RPOs where he can either hand it off, he can keep it and run it himself, or if he sees something he likes, he can throw out a wide receiver screen. He can throw the ball right over the middle to Pitts on a quick little slant. So they do a lot of things in this offense to take advantage of his movement skills. And then really their offensive line has been better so far. Last year it was dreadful. It's been better this year. And they'll play a lot of tight ends. They'll be physical. They'll run it downhill at you with Patterson. Tyler Algier, the rookie out of BYU, is the backup running back on this football team. And so if he can't go, though, that's a big loss. Algier on the season, 16 carries, 55 yards, 3.4 a pop. Cordarrelle, again, 49, 302, 6.2 a pop. So big differences there. But that's what they do. They're kind of fun to watch. Cordarrelle's fun to watch.
You said that earlier in the week. You enjoyed watching them in terms of the way that they use their offense.
Cordarrelle is fun to watch. Pitts is fun to watch. Drake London is fun to watch. He's 6'4", 219. Pitts is 6'6", 247. They've got some big dudes that they can just throw the ball up to and let them go ahead and make plays. And then you have the little guy. Zaccheaus is 5'8". So it's just it's kind of a collection of misfits in some ways, but it works, and it's been working very well. And they've, like I said, they put a good number of points. Now, they did have 1 defensive touchdown in that game against the Rams on a blocked punt or special teams touchdown, return for a touchdown. But they move the football. You're going to have to be on it, and you got to go ahead and try to get after Marcus Mariota. I think that's going to be one of the big keys for this team, is to try to generate some type of pressure against him and keep him contained in the pocket. He's been very dangerous outside of the pocket, but he's certainly not afraid to throw the ball down the field. They've got big guys out there. He's already completed 5 passes in 3 games of more than 20 yards. So like I said, not afraid to sling it at all. Where he's been terrible is under pressure. Like most quarterbacks, he's been much better keeping it clean, and he will put the ball on the ground. That's something the Browns need to pay attention to. They've fumbled 7 times. They've lost 4 of them. He personally has lost 3 fumbles already this year, so the Browns need to take advantage of that. It also should be noted that he has made at least 1 turnover-worthy throw in every single game, and the Browns have to take advantage of that. They've given the ball away twice in every game this year. Take advantage of that.
Couple of guys back from us. Denzel back from injury. He's at practice today. JOK said he was going to take a look at individuals and see how that went, but that he was trending in the right direction. Without Miles, if that's the way that it goes, that Miles doesn't play, and if Jadeveon can't play, how do we create pressure? Joe Woods would have to know pretty quickly because you're going to have to build some stuff in for that.
Yeah, I think that you will try to bring some blitzes so far against him. Mariota's been great against the blitz this year. He's 15 of 22, 68% completion, 7 yards an attempt with 150 yards. But 2 of his interceptions have come when blitzed. So maybe you're able to lure him into a trap, something like that. The real key for this team is you need to get them in obvious passing situations. When he does not have the benefit of play action this year, Mariota, 55% completions, 252 yards, 6 yards an attempt, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. He's also lost a couple of those fumbles there. With play action, the guy's completing 71% of his passes, 10.2 yards an attempt. He's thrown for 388 yards. Now he has just about as many play action attempts, 38, as he has non-play action attempts, 42. So the key is to get them on first and second down into third and longs. Now, they've been one of the most successful first down teams in the NFL. In fact, only Miami and Buffalo are on par with what they're producing on first downs. If they don't have Patterson, that helps. I would fully expect him to play. I mean, I saw nothing watching that game that indicated he wasn't okay, and he's coming off a career-high 141 yards. You got to find a way to get them in third down and 6+, and if you do that, then I think you have a chance to slow down this offense. If you get them into the third and shorts where everything's on the table for them, it's going to be very difficult to stop them.
It's a fun team to watch. This matchup there's a lot of what ifs. We did it today, but I mean, Patterson potentially down with them. We don't know who's going to play for us on Sunday, so this is one of those ones where tomorrow we'll have a much better idea of what this thing's actually going to look like on the field just because of the injuries that are happening on both teams.
One thing that'll be interesting to watch is we don't follow. Typically, as a team, we don't follow, but in this one, I think you could see a lot of Ronnie maybe running around, playing a lot as the nickel or the dime, and following Kyle Pitts around, given that he's a 6'3" guy.
Yeah.
And I think you would like to have, ideally, if possible, MJ Emerson around Drake London, because at 6'4", Denzel's only 5'11", Greg's 6 feet tall, but it'd be nice to have that size there. So that'll be, I think, an interesting thing to watch if the Browns do that, which is somewhat out of the norm for them.
There's a lot of ways. We'll probably talk about this a little bit more tomorrow. There's a lot of ways that this, the great Miss K, there's a lot of ways that this Falcons thing could try to be built here. They have some really interesting pieces.
Totally.
They're a long ways, but they're
Here's the
how
thing.
do you land it? Like, they have Desmond Ridder, the Cincinnati kid. He's there, but I don't know that people view him the way.
Yeah, but if he becomes that, you feel pretty good, right? The 2 teams that are really interesting to me in terms of building an evolution, right, are the Falcons and the Lions. And here's the thing. If Jared Goff isn't the answer, and you all of a sudden have, Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Hawkinson, Swift, DJ Chark, yada, 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 Jamal Williams, that feels like a plop a quarterback in and look out, right? Atlanta could be that. And let's not forget, New Orleans feels like they're headed nowhere. Carolina's awful. And as soon as Tom Brady walks out of Tampa Bay, they're not going to be the same.
No.
So that's a division where, okay, we've got some young pieces here. We can maybe make a move. And, you look at what they did. They put, multiple second-round picks onto the defense, a third-round pick onto the defense. They had 2 seconds and a third that they put right into their outside linebacker and inside linebacking room. You do your first-round pick on Drake London. You've got Kyle Pitts from a year ago. Calvin Ridley, while D'Orlando said will not play there again, he'll fetch you something.
You're going to get something for him. Yeah, for sure. Come on down. So much more to come. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Catch the Kevin Stefanski Show with Z and Gerard tonight, 7 to 8 at Slim and Chubby's on Prospect Road in Strongsville. Meet Browns kicker Cade York and check him out Thursday Night Football as the guys get you ready for Sunday's game against the Falcons. Thursday night's a goodie.
Oh, baby.
It's a goodie tonight.
It is good.
Fins plus 3.5. Gibbe. Go ahead, Gibbe. Gibbe. Sorry.
You're fine.
Sorry to step
You're
on
good.
you there. My fault.
Miami making its
That's
way
what I
north
needed,
to the Natty, the dirty Natty.
Dirty.
O'Malley's in the Alley is the party to be at tonight, I'm sure, in the dirty Natty.
Yep.
Cincinnati playing host to Miami. Zagora.
I think I went first last week, so I'm going to go ahead and defer my time to the
Yeah.
distinguished gentleman
Zagura's
from
gotta
Montana.
figure out
I
his
look at this
diatribe.
thing, and I got to tell you, this is a Miami team that has beaten New England, they've beaten Baltimore, and they beat Buffalo, and somehow they're underdogs in Cincinnati?
It doesn't make any sense.
1 minute.
Miami, huge. Huge, Fins. Huge in this one.
Thursday.
Zagora.
Thursday. Same. Thursday.
Pay attention. You got to pay attention to the scores,
Quirky
kids.
Thursday games.
You have to pay attention to the scores. Huge over-under on this one, too, like 49, 48.5, 49.5 on this
Yeesh.
one.
Jeez.
Usually these Thursday night games don't go that way. So they're wearing
they
the
do
all-white. Bengals in all-white
30.
tonight.
With the
White
white
lids.
helmets.
White lids for them. They look very, very sharp, which is very exciting. Prominent members of our leadership hinting at a potential with a white today on social, I saw.
Oh, boy.
That would be a delicious treat for the Otto Graham era. I would like that a great deal. Enjoy your Thursday Night Football. Enjoy your coaches show. We're back tomorrow for more fun. The next
Thank you.
level is coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.